Hello everyone and welcome to one of the most popular full-size pickup trucks but in an electric variant, which is this Ford F-150 Lightning. So I have this power bank in my hand, and this pickup truck and the power bank are quite similar in that sense because they both can charge our devices, but this thing is more than that because this pickup truck also has a lot of plug points, and not just that, it can also act as a power backup for your house when there is a power cut. And this one has tires, whereas this power bank does not. Plus this pickup truck is a lot spacious, including in the front too, whereas this again, yeah, just a slab. So this new F-150 Lightning is offered in 5 different variants: Pro, XLT, Flash, Lariat and Platinum. And the particular variant that I'm reviewing is the F-150 Lightning Lariat. And in terms of the design, and a lot of bits are actually just the same from the standard F-150, the gas powered variant, and even the design of it is quite similar. So let me begin with the front. There are only a few changes between the different trim levels in terms of the design. So the first one is this covered grille out here. The gray one goes from one end to the other because there's no radiator. There is a small radiator, sits at the bottom. I'm going to come to that. There's this Ford badging. Then this huge bumper goes from one end to the other, more plastic bumper at the bottom side, so it's just more easier to replace when you go off-roading with this 150 Lightning. And there is this opening out here, that's where there is a radiator because it's needed to cool the batteries and also for the heater when you switch it on. But it's got these vents that open and close as and when it's needed to make the car efficient also, and they are functional ones. So, and then there are these towing hooks on either side, and there is this one light bar that continues from one end to the other. So the basic design again of the headlight cluster is quite similar to the standard F-150, but on the Pro variant, which is the base variant, there is no lightning bar in the middle that connects from one end to the other, but on every other variant it's like this. So this is an LED DRL. It goes from one end to the other, and then there are these main headlight cluster, and this headlight cluster is again a dynamic headlight cluster, is connected to the steering input, so it keeps turning around also, so it also acts as a cornering light too. And in the middle there is the turn lights which are given on the inside. It's a completely LED headlight cluster too. And the best bit about this F-150 Lightning is the fact that there is no engine on the inside, so that space can be utilized by opening this frunk. And you can even open this frunk from the inside too, next to the steering. So there's a button provided for that, or you can open it using the key also, so there's a button provided for that too. And then welcome to this huge space out here. So first of all, there are scuff plates here also, so that you don't damage your front bumper, and this huge space that can accommodate up to 400 pounds of load on the inside. There's also a Ford badging on the front door. Now there are like carpets on here at the bottom. There is storage when you lift these boards. There's storage underneath too that houses the charger that comes with this, the home charger for this F-150. We cover that up. There are also tying hooks given here, foldable ones on all the sides. There's also the front lights given in this door too. Those can be switched on and off from here, and there is an emergency release button also, so in case someone goes on the inside like this and closes themselves, then there is a button to open the front door. Now there are also plug points that are given in the front, in fact 4 of them, and they consume a total of 2.5 kilowatt because there is a 9.6 kilowatt Pro Power board provided on this, and that is divided between the front, the cabin and on the back. And on the inside also you can switch these individual sections of the plugs on and off, so even that is possible from inside the infotainment screen. And then if you want to close this front, you press this button and easily close it. But yes, that's the beauty about this pickup truck, because it's got more space to carry a lot of stuff. Now on the sides there are these 20-inch dark grey alloy wheels, and also the regenerative braking action on all the 4 wheels. Then this door to the charging, which has F-150 Lariat mentioned. And in terms of the charging, this thing is capable of the CCS, which is the combined charging system. So AC and DC both is offered on this. And in terms of the maximum charging, it can do up to 150 kilowatts, so that's possible too. And in terms of the battery capacity, so this thing has 2 different types of battery packs: standard range and also the extended long range. So the standard range, when this thing comes with, it's got a 98 kilowatt hour battery pack, sits at the bottom, and the long range is 131 kilowatt hour. And in terms of the range, so the standard 98 kilowatt hour would give you 386 kilometers up to, and the extended ones will be 515. And there are 2 electric motors, one in the front and one in the rear, so it gives it the 4-wheel drive ability also. And not just that, because this thing is an electric truck, so there is no leaf spring on the back, but instead there is the independent rear suspensions also. So that means there is a lot more comfortable ride on this F-150 too. And in terms of the battery charging, discharging, as I mentioned before, the rates can keep varying, the experience can be different, especially today, like it's like -2, so the range would definitely be slightly affected because of that. So when I picked this car up, its range was 380 kilometers, and I've driven about 70 kilometers so far, and currently the car is showing me about 280 kilometers. So obviously there is 30 kilometers of range that has diminished, plus also a lot of accessories that you use on the inside, so that also affects the range. And as I said, that this F-150 Lightning can also power your house. So this port that I showed you, that works in 2 ways. So it's a bi-directional port. So if you install the Ford's system inside the house up to 80 amperes, then whenever there is a power cutoff in your house, then this thing can act as a backup. So yes, it can power your house for up to 3 days. Let's say 1 kilowatt for every hour if you consume, and this has 98 kilowatt hour battery pack. So if you calculate, and then that's still 72, so a little bit of diminished power here and there. But also in terms of the charging, so Ford says that from 15%, not 10%, 15% to 80% would take about 35 to 40 minutes. Again, the charging times also vary a lot depending on how many people are charging from that same system if you are outside, and not just that, the temperature and everything sort of affects that. And this thing that I mentioned, that it can power the house also, because there is the home backup system that is offered on this, and because of which it can do all this. So yes, this truck is not just a pickup truck, but it's also like a big power bank, as I mentioned. Now in terms of these side mirrors, these are body colored side mirrors. They are power foldable, power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning in the inside, and also one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. There is also turn signals on the edge, and also more lights on these side mirrors also that can be switched on from inside individually, or there is something called as the zone lighting option. So once you go inside the infotainment screen, and you can switch the front, sides and the rear, all these lights on and off, whichever sections you want to keep them on, or illuminate your entire surroundings by switching all these lights on. So the zone lighting feature is on the inside of the infotainment screen. There is also a fixed side board with the Ford badging on it. When you come to these doors, all 4 doors are smart keyless entry doors. You can even walk away and the car would lock itself. There is this also the famous drop. The F-150 gives more visibility. There is also this famous keypad from Ford, so you can put the pin on this and lock this car away. And also there is the Lightning badging given in the back too, the blue and black version, and the bed in the back, and as I said, this thing comes with the 4-wheel drive and also independent rear suspensions. Now in the rear there are full set of LED tail lights, turn signals, reverse lights, brake lights, everything is completely in LED, and these lights also act as the light for the back if you want to illuminate from that zone lighting. And the LED light bar in the rear is also like from one end to the other. There is also F-150 badging on the trunk door, which is embossed, the Ford badging here. Also there are these scufflates so that it's just easier to get in and out of the bed, and also Ford badging given in the back too. There are also the brake lines and the power lines provided for the trailer. There is also a trailering hook too. And in terms of the trailering capacity, so on the standard range it can trailer up to 7,700 pounds, whereas with the extended range it's 10,000 pounds. There is also a spare wheel that is mounted underneath the trunk floor. And on the standard F-150 Lariat variant that I reviewed a little while ago, you can click on the pop-up banner out here, you can watch the detailed review video of that. There was a Pro Access tailgate which was an optional extra, but on this it's not, but it still got the electronic tailgate. So in order to open it, press this button, or again you can open it on the inside also. So you can press the button like this and it drops down gently, and as I said, you can open it on the inside also. So like there are buttons again next to the steering, so press that and open or close. And also the front, as I mentioned, can be open and closed. Now in the back on this trunk door there is a scale, and also there's like a slot here, I'm guessing, to put your phone. So if you're going to be having a picnic or camping, and also like cup holders and stuff here on this. Even in the front, when you lift the board from the front, there also there was the scale on it and everything. So Ford has like thought out properly, like to just arm this thing with every sensible option possible. Now in terms of the payload capacity, again for the standard variant, the payload capacity is up to 2,200 pounds, whereas for the extended range it's less than 2,200, for the fact that when you add more batteries it becomes a little more heavy also. And this is also lined with the special material, so it's to make the bed tough, and there is a sticker on the other side too. There are also tying hooks given in the back. There are also trunk lights given for the cargo bed, so those can be switched on from the inside. Also there are also lights given on the top there too. Again, they also can be switched on and off, and all are connected to the zone lighting too. And on the left side there are plug points given too. Again, here one of the plug points has a maximum of 7.2 kilowatt capacity, whereas the other ones are 2.4 kilowatts, so 3 of them there. And also there is like a button to switch them on and off. And on the other side there is also a small storage lockable one provided too. There is also a Ford badging inside the cargo bed on the side face. There's also this window here in the rear glass, and in this the windows can be opened electronically, whereas on the lower variants there is just the glass. So it's for this variant, Lariat and the Platinum, where you get this slidable window, and the button is given on the roof inside, so you press that button and open it electronically. And in terms of the visibility, so it's actually pretty good because it's like a vertical window, so it's not going to be a problem. Now in order to close the door here, you press this button again, or from your key fob, and let it gently close away for you. Now if you thought that we were done with the storage, not yet, because there is one more covered storage on the inside, and it's right here. So these rear seats are foldable, and you fold them up like this, quite easy to do. Let me do it on the other side. Gosh, it's so cold. Yeah, so you have this flat floor here where you can put like longer, taller objects, plants, or if you are transporting something. Very easy to do that. There's also some more storage on the back side too, and on the right side behind this backrest there is the toolkit provided also, and it's quite easy to operate too. So this is another storage given on this F-150 Lightning. Now if you thought that those were the only features on this F-150 Lightning, then hold on, because there are quite a lot of features that we are still left to go through, and a lot of them on the inside also. But the first one is, let me begin with the onboard scale. So this option is, that is like a weighing scale that measures how much load you're putting in the front and also in the cargo bed. So that will measure and show you on the screen itself, including all the passengers, drivers, everyone's weight together. So this is like a ballpark figure. So in case you're measuring, then it gives you like at least the ability to decide like how much load that you are carrying. Again, that's one more thing, like a good feature that's been provided on this. There's also the smart hitch option. So when you go on the inside, so that smart hitch option would decide like what's the trailer weight and all the checklists and everything that will be decided on the inside of this system. And then the Pro Power Onboard, so individually you can switch on the different sections of the plug points on the car, then the zone lighting also, and the pedal sets, they can be moved electronically, so they go up and down. So there's one more adjustability option also possible, along with these electronically adjustable seats also. And there is also the mobile office setup, so it was there on the standard F-150 also. So you can fold away the gear shifter and then take out this table, extend it, and then now you have this huge table here. Maybe you can put your laptop and work, or have a breakfast or have a meal on this one. Once you're done, put it up, lift this again, a little bit on the noisy side, but then you're ready to go. So yeah, these are some of the features yet, because there are lots more features to go to. And after this, let me begin with the material quality. So on the dashboard, there is like normal plastic. I wish that was a little bit on the softer side, on the top side, but yeah, that's just normal plastic. Even on the door cards, there is like squidgy materials provided with the bronze color stitching, and in the front there is this plastic piece that's meant to look like brushed aluminum texture around the switches and all. Good decent plastic. We're going to be resting hands, that's soft touch material. Also on the side face of this dashboard, again there is like harder material, and then this door that opens to the storage, so that also has this brushed aluminum effect on it. And the bottom on the glove box is normal plastic. Here also there is this covered storage, under which there is the wireless charger and also the USB port. So that cover also has the same brushed aluminum plastic trim around this center console. Again, lots of plastic, but then this plastic is like satin finish, so looks good. This handrest, which is covered with this soft material with the bronze color stitching. Even on the side face of this dashboard, again bronze color stitching, leather covered steering wheel, and this 15.5 inch screen, infotainment, and this 12.3 inch driver's display also. So overall, the cabin is again much more standard, like the F-150 gas version of the pickup truck. So that way there's nothing different, which is the best thing. It does not make you feel like you're driving something different, because you're familiar with the standard F-150. So you jump inside this, and again everything is quite familiar on the inside too, including everything like the interior layout and all of it. So that's one good thing. Now when we come to the driver's display, so there is a 12.3 inch digital driver's display, and the layout of that again is very simple, not too much. So there is like the range and the charging, like how much regen is happening. That gauge is on the left side, and on the right side there is the speedometer, and in the middle there is information. And you cannot change the design or the theme of this driver's display, but it's all right, you don't need to do that, because there is ample of information, and the right amount of information is all visible on this display too. And in order to change the information on this driver's display, there are buttons provided on the right side. So you scroll down depending on what option you keep. So the first option is the calm screen, which will reduce all these dials. They will all go away and just show you only digital speed and the range on the screen, and more information at the bottom, odometer and stuff. But yes, that's the option. Then the next option is trip 1, then this trip, tire pressure, pitch and roll, power distribution, trailer light status, configure my view, where you can add more screens and everything to this menu option. Also, you go back or you press the menu, then more options like my view, which was there right now, the trip information, trip 1, trip 2, this trip, then truck info, tire pressure, pitch and roll, power distribution, seat belts, then the towing, navigation, phone, audio, and some more settings like speed in miles per hour, brake coach, and everything, EV history and stuff. And then we are back into the main menu option. So that's it. Straightforward is how you use this driver's display. When we come to this steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel with the bronze color stitching on that one. Two, there are buttons provided on either side, no paddle shifters or anything, but straightforward, the regen action can happen like on and off. That's about it. You go inside this infotainment screen, then there is the vehicle option, and you go inside the controls, and then there is one pedal drive. Straightforward, that switch it on or off, and actually very well calibrated one pedal drive system also. So that's that. And then the steering wheel is electronically adjustable, tilt and telescopic, and there are buttons given on the right side to change the information on the driver's display, and some more media controls at the bottom. And on the left side there are buttons provided for the adaptive cruise control and also the Blue Cruise, Ford's Blue Cruise, that's been provided with this. So hands-free driving on almost 98% of the highways in Canada and in the US. So that's the option, and also more buttons for the media controls provided on the left side too. And there are also sensors on both the sides, on this left door card, on the pillar, and out here on the left side of this infotainment screen. Those sensors actually monitor your head movement, so if you're not looking at it, then it would warn you that you have to look at it so that it is active, the Ford's Blue Cruise. Now when we come to the air conditioning controls, so the air conditioning controls are not the button operated air conditioning controls, but yeah, now it moves into this 15.5-inch infotainment screen, and it sits permanently at the bottom of the infotainment screen. So there is a dedicated area for that, but still you have to look at it and then operate. But it's fairly easy, straightforward. So it's a dual zone air conditioning system provided on this F-150 Lightning, and in order to switch it on and off, you can either press the fan button or the temperature, and then this dial in the middle is a dual nature dial. It acts as a volume dial and also as a fan, and also temperature, and many things that it can do. Then you can adjust the temperature. Again, that dial can be used to change the temperature also, cooler, warmer, and then it changes the color also. On either side you can do that. Then the aircon and the flow of air, once you press the flow of air, it leads you into the main screen where it shows you the different options like heating, and then the driver focus. So you can just switch on just the driver side of the heating if you're alone in the car, and the flow of air and the dual syncing of the air conditioning also. And there are also buttons provided on either side at the bottom also for the heated and the cooled seats, so that can be switched on and off from either side or leave it on auto. And again, this dial can act for the heated cooled seats also, so turn it around to switch it on and off. Even for the passenger side, the same thing. And also there is a button provided for the heated steering wheel also. Now when we come to this infotainment screen, so this is a 15.5-inch infotainment system. In terms of the operations, it's actually quite straightforward, but yes, there is a lot of animation and it's heavily loaded, so it slows the screen down a little bit. But let's begin with the first option. So you press this menu option on the top left, and then the first option is the radio, then the phone, and then the inbuilt navigation system also. So this system is powered by Ford Sync 4, so it's Ford's own OS that's been provided on this, and then inbuilt navigation also. And as a complimentary option, this thing comes with 3 months of internet package and 3 GB data that you can extend later on. So even that's been provided as complimentary for the first 3 months, and also the Blue Cruise also, which is an optional extra provided on this. And then The next option is the media option. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to its infotainment system using Bluetooth, USB, and there is wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And then there is this interesting option called as the Stingray Karaoke. So you can actually have a karaoke session on the inside with the passengers, and it's got all the latest songs, and they are updated also because it's got the internet package too. So that's one more entertainment feature provided. There's one more dedicated entertainment section also provided on this. Going to come to that. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, then the charging points, public charging, shows you all the public charging inside. Even when you're connected using the Android Auto on Google Maps, so even the Google Maps will show you how much percentage is left when you reach your destination. That's a good way to plan the trips also. Then the trips, owner manual, then the internal backup power, then the onboard scale, Pro Power Onboard, zone lighting, towing, and the smart hitch. Then the entertainment option where there is inbuilt YouTube, then these games that you can play when the car is charging, so lots of entertainment options also. Then we go into the vehicle settings where there are controls, and there are 4 different driving modes: normal, sport, tow haul, and the off-road, and then the one pedal drive. And there is also the locking differential, so the rear axle can be locked so that they spin at the same rate, but it's just the electric motor, so that will just lock it in, but nonetheless there is locking differential offered on this. And then calm screen, then you can switch the screen completely off if you don't want any distractions. Then sound, so this thing comes with Bang & Olufsen surround sound system, 8 speaker. It sounds pretty good. And there is also the phone list option, then the driver assistance, and more options on the inside. As I said, it takes a little while sometimes to load because it's heavily loaded with a lot of options, all the safety systems. Then the vehicle settings, again, lot of options inside also: lights, mirrors, door keypad codes, everything, power tailgate. Then the general settings, your language, temperature, weight, measurements, date and time, everything, connectivity, software updates. It's got over the air software updates also, Ford Assistant, Amazon Alexa, valet mode. And not just that, this black color theme, dark theme, also can be changed to the brighter ones also on the inside. And you go to the display settings, and then you can leave it in auto or leave it in bright or the dark mode, so even that's possible. Then the 360-degree camera option, that also can be switched on at any point of time. And then you can see so many different views on this, very crystal clear camera system. And also there is the trailer connection option also, so that camera also can be connected from this. And then the guest mode, so there are also more options that sit at the bottom. So those are the most latest options that you've interacted on this infotainment screen, so those sit at the bottom, so that's easier to get into them. Then there are more buttons provided at the bottom of the infotainment screen also for the parking, auto assist parking, then the traction control button. Now in terms of the charging, so there are lots of ports on the inside also. So there are 2 USB ports, one normal and one type C underneath the infotainment screen, and one wireless charger. There's also one 12-volt power socket, another plug point given on the passenger side too. Inside this armrest there are also 2 more type C USB ports, and for the rear passengers there are also 2 more type C USB ports along with a plug point. Now on this F-150 Lightning there are these extendable sun visors. There is also a panoramic sunroof, quite big, opens pretty wide also. Then there are these grab handles given in the front and also for the rear passengers too. Now in terms of the storage, so there is ample of storage too. In the door cards you can easily put, like, there are 2 cup holders and more storage at the bottom, and even on the top side also to put your phones. Then there are these slots given in the center tunnel on the side where you can put your phones and wallets. Then there are these 2 flexible cup holders also, this wireless charging pad that you can utilize because it's a covered one. Then there is this glove box, tiny one, but the top side also has this covered storage too. Again, you can put your phones and wallets on the inside. This huge handrest underneath which there is the storage that can store a lot of things, like about 6, 7, 8 half a liter worth of bottle. There's also this tray that you can put on top to put some more things. Behind the handrest there are also two more cup holders, standard ones, and one more slot for the phones, I'm guessing. And on the rear door cards also, again, it's double layered, so you can put like 1.5 liter worth of bottle at the bottom, some more storage on the sides, and also underneath the door handle there is more storage to put your phones. And there are also two normal cup holders provided in the center armrest, and there is also one more storage pad given behind this infotainment screen on the dashboard itself, where you can put your phones and wallets. And there is also a coin arranger out here, so you can put about 1 2 3 4 5 coins in there, so it's just very handy to organize them if you are a person that likes to do that. Then there is also a dial for the Pro trailer, so you can switch the middle button and then the car would prompt you like, is the trailer connected, yes or no, and then it will start testing everything for that. And then you can adjust the braking pressures also using the dials. When we come to the seats, so these are the leather seats, dual tone leather seats. So there's a lighter gray and there's a darker gray color on it, along with the bronze color stitching provided. Also, they are quite broad, and also they are also very comfortable at the same time. They are perforated seats because they are the heated and the cooled seats too. These headrests, again, they are also quite soft, and overall these seats actually make you feel quite comfortable on the inside, especially during the longer journeys. There is ample of support underneath by side too. And in terms of the backrest, yes, as I said, these seats are quite broad that way, so they will not exactly be very hugging seats, but they are still quite comfortable seats. And in terms of the adjustability, so both the driver and the passenger side seats are 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar adjustment. So it's very spacious for the rear passengers too. Like the amount of knee room, I almost have more than like half of my hand worth of knee room. The headroom is slightly restricted. Someone above 6 feet will start brushing their heads against the ceiling, and because the floor is slightly raised up, and if you notice, like the way I'm sitting, I'm slightly on the lower side. Although these seats are like the bench type of seats, they are quite flat that way, but yes, it misses out a little bit of the under thigh support. The angle that my legs are making, you can make out from that, but still very clear and wide view all around, even when you are sat in the rear of this F-150 Lightning. In terms of these seats, so these seats are the same dual color leather seats, light gray and dark gray, and they've also got the bronze color stitching. There are 3 headrests also. They are again very soft and comfortable in the rear too, and they are quite broad, so 3 people can easily fit into these rear seats also. And they are flat even in the backrest, that's also very flat. And the seats on either side are the heated seats. The buttons are given in the middle in this center console, and there is not much space to slide your legs under the seats, but no need that because there is lots of space that way. And this seat in the front is in my driving position, and after that there is so much of space available. Now there's also no tunnel or anything or a step in the back, so once I sit in the middle, yeah, it's one of the only cars where you can actually sit in the middle and be comfortable. Like slightly backrest is on the harder side because of the fact that there is this hand rest with 2 normal cup holders, but it's a tiny hand rest, so there's not much that you can put. So if there are cups, then yeah, there's not much space left around that because it's quite thinner support on either side also. But nonetheless, there are like these hand rest and cup holders provided on the inside too. There's also pocket storage in the driver and the passenger side seat, but yes, overall it's quite spacious in the back too. In terms of the door card quality, it's soft material, but yes, still on the harder side. We're going to be resting hands, that's decently soft, and around the switch is normal plastic, more plastic like the brushed aluminium given on the side face, like a small piece. And in terms of the storage, on the top side there are 2 more cup holders, lots of cup holders if you've been counting. So 2 more cup holders on the top side, 2 more at the bottom also, and massive storage in these door cards also. There are 2 more cup holders here, as I said, in the center tunnel in the back side and a slot to put to your phones. More cup holders here. So yes, even storage wise there is quite a lot. There are also two air conditioning vents provided in the back too, so easier to keep the passengers hot during winters and cool during summers too. Then there is also one more 12-volt power socket and two USB ports and a plug point in the back too. There is also buttons provided for the heated seat. So overall, the passengers in the rear of this F-150 are also going to enjoy the ride, and it also goes quite fast. So let's jump into the driving seat and go for a drive. It's so strange to drive a pickup truck this big in complete silence, because usually you're just used to that V8 or V6 sound thundering in the front. But on this you have the two electric motors, one in the front and one in the back, and no gearbox. But essentially an EV means that, whoa, you can do this. It just accelerates so fast, so freaking fast, and you really have to wrap your mind around this fact that this big a vehicle can do this. Now it's just recently snowed, and as you can make out from the video so far, so the surfaces are quite wet. Some of the places where the snow has frozen, so it's kind of slippery also. So I'm going to be just behaving myself and not going to be pushing this thing. So these two electric motors combined, they produce 452 horsepower, and that is when it's a standard battery. When there is an extended battery range, then it produces 580 horsepower, and in terms of torque, 775 pound-feet of torque. Pick up whichever package, the torque is the same, and it's right from the word go. And this thing is just mighty fast, and that's obviously because it's an EV. But wow, you just yeah, you really need to try this to understand how quickly. It's just that because this thing is so heavy, and you have to wrap that fact that it can just go like this. It's like a rat. It's just going to be scampering around so quickly, and the power also is just right on the go. Like there is no delay. There's like half a second delay, but that is to do with the safety fact. The throttle response has that half second delay, so that you're not like surprised by suddenly putting all this power down. Although there is a sport mode, so when I push that, like it's instant. Like if you are capable to handle that sort of power instantly, then whoa, like it's skidding around a little bit because it's trying to gain traction. And there's also a locking differential, also the E-diff on this. So again, that will help when you go off-roading, if you ever take this thing off-roading, because if you go off-roading, then you will have to figure out how to charge this thing somewhere with the range, because the range, as I said, is 389 with the standard battery pack, and extended one has 515. And in terms of the efficiency, so long distances I've managed to do around 29 to 30 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, which is not too bad for a pickup truck this big. And then, as I said, the range keeps getting affected because of the weather elements and the way you drive. If you drive like a lunatic like me, then obviously the range is going to be less. But yes, all that affects it. And in fact, within the city, I've managed to get like better efficiency because it's consuming less power. Obviously, because you're not going all the time quickly, so it's doing about 27 to 28 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. So yeah, there's slight improvement in efficiency within the city. And the one pedal drive actually is very good because it puts in the power into the system, and there is also a bit of animation going on the left side of the dial gauge whenever you press the brakes, and then the regen is happening, and it's very gradual, and it does not take you suddenly. And at higher speeds it's actually very gentle, which is what you want. You don't want to be suddenly taken back, and one pedal drive is possible. I've been doing that. I've managed to do that, and it's very easy. Now, in terms of the suspensions, again, there are independent rear suspensions in the back instead of the leaf spring. So as a result of that, the ride quality is just so comfortable. And at the same time, the batteries, because they are sitting on the floor on the lower side, so the CG is also kept quite low, and as a result of that, there is not much roll. In fact, you just feel like you're driving an elevated SUV, a little on the higher side. But yes, it's actually very good, the ride quality itself, with this suspension setup and the lower battery pack. Yes, very good handling. Coming to the steering, the steering again also is quite responsive on this thing. Like, everything just works so well in sync on this car. The steering is precise, there is good amount of feedback. Again, it's not going to be like a sporty kind of thing, but good enough for a big pickup like this, and gives a good amount of feedback, even though this is an electronic steering. But if you put it into the sport or the normal mode, does not change the nature as such. But anyways, it's pretty well calibrated for sure. Now, when we come to the capabilities of this thing, like, yes, you can do off-roading because there is an all-wheel drive because of these two electric motors in the front and the back. But as I said, the range is going to be something that you have to think of, and even on a daily basis, you have to keep thinking about how much the range will be, because 389 kilometers, that's still a ballpark figure. Like, depending on different conditions, it can keep changing. So you have to be at it in order to just make sure that the car is fully charged, or at least decently charged, whenever you need it for any work, or if it's an important work, then yeah, make sure you have enough of battery on the inside, because it's 131 kilowatt hour, then it's going to take a little longer too, even if it's a fast charger. Now, in terms of the charging infrastructure, I've managed to get the charging around my area, about a kilometer in radius. I'm getting fast chargers. I'm all right to test these cars. But yes, if you don't have a setup, then you definitely need to invest into one. Now, in terms of the noise and the vibrations, again, very well done in that department. Also, there is just some amount of tire noise, and also from the wheel wells a little bit. But otherwise, it's a fairly quiet ride, especially because of the lack of engine noise. You really have to make sure the car is quiet. But yes, Ford has done a good job with this Lightning to make sure it's quiet. There is not much wind whooshing. Also, the rattling, again, the build quality seems to be good, so nothing is loose as such. And this car is at 8,500 kilometers, and after that, yeah, holding up well. Now, in terms of the braking, there are 4 disc brakes on this F-150 Lightning. The braking performance is pretty good. Actually, I have not really used the brake pedal, so the brake pedal is progressive and it's pretty decent. It's got like not much travel to it, but yes, it's still progressive. But I managed to just use it using a one pedal drive, so I'm not bothered about using the brake pedal itself. But yes, it's progressive and very well calibrated in that too. Now, when we come to the safety system, so there are 8 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also 2 curtain airbags in the frame. There is also 2 knee airbags for the driver and the passenger too. There is also the child ISOFIX points in both the rear seats, the very good 360-degree camera system also, and there is also another extra outlet for the trailer also when you connect, so you can connect that camera option too, and you can select so many different views from these cameras also, and crisp and clear camera setup. Even at night you can easily see the view from it. Then there is also the Ford's Blue Cruise, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, then pedestrian warnings front and rear. There is also the collision warnings for the front, and there is also a camera provided in the front windshield that monitors all that. Then the adaptive cruise control, which is part of the Ford's Blue Cruise also, which is an optional extra though, the Ford's Blue Cruise. Then there is also the ABS, then there is tire pressure monitoring system. So lots and lots of safety system provided too. Now, in terms of the pricing, so the base variant, which is the Pro, starts from 62,700 $700 or $350. I'm going to put the exact pricing. Whereas this Lariat with all these optional extras comes in at $105,750. Whereas the top variant, which was the Platinum, will come in at around $113,700, and plus if you add taxes and stuff, somewhere around $115,000. Now I get it, like for an EV pickup truck, that's a massive price to pay, and to be honest, I get it. Like, the pickup truck itself is just very good. It's absolutely brilliant with what it does. It's comfortable, it's spacious, it's got so much of luggage in the front, in the rear, inside. You fold up these seats, so there is plenty of useful features given on the inside. You can hook this thing up to your home and yes, use it as a backup power option also. So yes, lots of things that are actually very useful on this pickup truck for daily use, and it can haul also. But yes, that would reduce your range significantly, yes, when you haul and tow a lot of things with this pickup truck. But end of the day, it can do, it's mighty capable, but the thing is that it's not going to be able to do this for a longer period of time. And if you're someone who are looking to invest into a truck that's useful for the main trucking purposes, then yeah, that's where it just slightly lags in terms of that. And if you have the infrastructure for charging by yourself, then yes, it's still going to be manageable. But otherwise, yes, as I said, where it needs to be doing the stuff as a truck, that's where it will lag a little bit. But otherwise, it's a fantastic option if you're looking within the city commute and to just use for like just the normal usage of, you know, lugging around stuff within the city limits and just putting it in the back. But yes, for that it's going to be useful. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video, and if you've liked this video, make sure to press the thumbs up button. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and drive safe.